is a believed terrorist and Taliban fighter. He is charged with throwing a grenade and killing a medic. Fighting along the same Taliban terrorists that are killing our troops is an attack against us all. Now the Liberals want to bring Qatar to Canada. Yesterday, a Liberal senator compared the Canadian government to Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. The Secretary of State did not. Mr. Speaker, he also suggested that Canada's refusal to bring Qatar to this country is just as bad as strapping explosives onto a handicapped girl and sending her to blow up civilians. This is the kind of scorching rhetoric that one would expect from the Qatar family. To see it adopted by a Liberal senator is truly shocking. Following this outburst, Canadians want to know where the Liberal leader stands. Will he rise now and call on his senator to apologize?
Is back. Did he mean Canada is turning its back on the world?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this from a leader whose idea of foreign policy is asking questions about somebody's girlfriend. This government brought in the elimination of subsidies for the oil sands that the previous government had put into place. The NDP opposed that. Mr. Speaker, this government in the last year has cut taxes, raised the basic personal exemption, cut the lowest rate, cuts the GST for ordinary consumers and families, Mr. Speaker, and the NDP voted against it. And Mr. Speaker, this government has also made clear that it will require carbon capture and storage for future oil sands development, and the NDP was against that too. So whose side is the NDP on anyway?
The Honourable Member.
But spare me the details. Is that what happened?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what was said in this place. That member unconditionally and falsely smeared the minister, smeared the minister's wife, and smeared the minister's family. If he could smear and recklessly attack innocent people, Mr. Speaker, he can unconditionally apologize to this House and apologize to the minister and his family.
The Honourable Member for Markham.
Tragedy going on in Burma, as we all know. There's an earthquake that is deadly in China. Civil war could technically start again in Lebanon, and the only thing that the sovereigntists in this House want to talk about for the past week is the personal life of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Bloc is shaming Quebecers.
Forced many Conservative candidates in hopeless ridings to play this game.
Of course, I followed all the campaign rules in all three of my successful election campaigns. With regard to Chuck Cadman, as I said yesterday, we wanted Chuck Cadman to rejoin the Conservative Party so he would vote in the House of Commons and throw the corrupt Liberals out so we can get a Conservative government in that would deliver on its word. And that's exactly what we're doing in this government. The member...
Mr. Speaker, I'm only 45. I'm not yet a senior. That being said, what we continue to see from the other side is a policy plate that is entirely void of any substance whatsoever. Every single question in this House has nothing to do with anything except for imaginary scandals in their desperate effort to find something to hold together a fracturing party that lacks any policy. But you know what? They've got a policy coming. It's the key to their success. They've decided in this time of rising gas prices, the key to winning the next election and keeping their party together is to raise those gas prices on ordinary Canadians. That's the plan their leader's going to be availing in the weeks ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I've noticed for some time that the members across the way have been tense. And as a result, I've developed a routine of reminding them of their own election practices. We all know what I'm talking about. $5,000 in, $5,000 out, in, out. Where is Elections Canada? When I ask these questions, Mr. Speaker, is to remind them that what they did in the last election, just like what we did, is common practice. It is perfectly legal. And I thank them very much for giving me so many occasions to point that out. Thank you.
Honourable Member.
A Liberal senator said the Canadian government was morally equivalent to Al-Qaeda and the Taliban for not seeking the immediate release of Omar Khadr. Offered several opportunities to retract his remarks, the Liberal senator doubled down and repeated them. Does the Secretary of State for Canadian identity think the senator's comments will affect Canada's reputation on the world stage?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm afraid it might. I was deeply disturbed to hear the remarks of the Liberal senator who repeatedly and deliberately said that there is a moral equivalence, that is to say no moral difference, between the mass murder of civilians by terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and the policy of Canada on the Cotter matter, a policy established by his own Liberal government, Mr. Speaker. I find, and I'm sure that all Canadians find, these remarks unacceptable, extreme, odious, and demanding of an immediate apology from that senator and from his leader, Mr. Speaker.
Here.